Well, hello everyone, it's Andrew Bro back with another tutorial, this time part 2 of how to create business cards inside of Microsoft Publisher, or how to set up your business cards in Microsoft Publisher. So last time we took a look at just a very simple business card. We did 10 up per page. We designed one card, it automatically set up 10 for us. They looked like this when they were all done. And the card we're setting up today is not going to look like this, but it's going to be the same idea. It is how to set up a business card so that the color actually bleeds off the edge of the card. Here we even see a picture bleeding off the edge of the card. The back of the card, we've got this element here in the back, it bleeds off the edge of the card. How was that created so that when you chop these cards up, you don't end up with a little bit of the card that was set up above it bleeding off into this one? Well, I'm about to show you how to do that right now. So let's jump right into it. We're going to open up Microsoft Publisher. We're going to choose a new blank document, like always. We're going to go to Page Design tab, Size, and drop down to the Page Setup. Now, business cards are typically 3.5 inches wide by 2 inches tall. But since we want to have some bleed area, we're going to leave a 1/4 inch of extra space all the way around this business card. So that means we're going to have a width of 4 inches and a height of 2.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and set the margins, the margin guides. I'm going to set these to 0, and you're going to see why once we continue this setup. Alright, and now we've got this little bit of space to address here. We've got a tiny bit of space in the margin of the page. We don't want our cards to be printing all the way to the edge. We've got a little bit here at the bottom. So if I did my math correctly, we should have a side margin of 0.25, and we should have a top margin, I believe, of 0.5. See if that centers everything up. That centers everything up for us. It looks like we're going to get 8 cards per page. That is correct. We should get exactly 8 cards per page. Alright, we'll go ahead and say OK. And we are in. So before we start doing any design work on this, we need to make sure that we've got ourselves some guides so that we know where it is safe to place text, where it is safe to place images, and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing we need to do is we need to mark a 1/4 inch all the way around, because anything outside of a 1/4 inch is going to end up getting cut off of this card. So I'm just going to click and drag on the side ruler, and we're going to put a guide at 0.25. We're going to put another guide 0.25 away from the edge, so at 3 3/4, right there. Going from the top ruler, click and drag, once again 1/4 inch from the top and a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Now, what we've just placed out here is going to get cut off of the card, and inside of here is where the business card is actually going to be designed. So we still need some more guides, because we don't want to design all the way up to this edge and have something potentially getting cut off. So typically what I like to do is like a text safe or picture safe zone, and I usually make that anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4. For a business card, 1/8 is just fine. So we're going to go another 1/8 of an inch, stick another guide there, 1/8 of an inch, all the way around 1/8 of an inch. Here we go from the top. Sometimes this is a little bit tricky to get this to land right where we want it. I wish it was like InDesign where it would actually snap into place, but unfortunately Microsoft has not done that yet. Alright, we've got ourselves now some title safe or text safe and picture safe zones. Now the next thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and create the cut lines that actually show where this card is going to get cut out because it is a full bleed card. So to do that, we go over here to the Insert tab, or actually we can just go back to the Home tab. Go back to the Home tab, click on the Shapes, and select a line. And for this, we can create a line anywhere we want, and it can be vertical or horizontal. Doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and just make myself a line. Now this is way, way too thick, so I am going to right-click on the line and say Format Auto Shape. We're going to drop this down to 0.75 point, and we're leaving it black. That's perfectly fine. Now we can grab it and move it right up here. Now it's important that it does not go right here. We don't want any of the color from this line to touch the corner of the card, and the reason is because inevitably when we cut out a stack of these cards, there's going to be about 1 millimeter or up to 3 millimeter shift in each card, and you could end up with a little tiny black dot in the corner of your cards. Alright, so with that done, I'm going to hold down Control and Shift at the same time. You'll notice I get the little plus symbol above my cursor right here. I'm going to click on this line and drag, and it creates a copy, but it also keeps it in line with the one above. I'm going to let go once it gets to this line. Now with the one that I just copied selected, I'm going to hold Control Shift again, click the top one, and now it actually copies both of them along this line, and let go. Alright, so we've got our vertical line cut lines done. Let's go ahead and create the horizontal ones. Holding down Shift again. Once again, you'll see that it does automatically set a 2-point line here, so we need to do the Format Auto Shape and drop this down to 0.75. Move that into place. Control Shift and go ahead and drag out the other guides just like we did before. And so you can see these points don't touch, but they point to the areas that are going to get cut. Alright, that's all done. Let's go ahead and start adding some elements to this card. So we're just going to set up something generic, something simple. There's not really any rhyme or reason to how we're doing this. We just want our information on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and split this card in half. So if it's 2 inches from here to here, well, we're at 2.75. What is that? 1.25 should be half the card. Let's get right there. Alright, so that should be halfway up the card. I'm going to grab the shape tool here. We're going to grab a rectangle, and I'm just going to draw out a great big rectangle here. Okay, now with the drawing tools format shape set here, we're going to go into the shape fill. I want a nice dark blue, and we're going to say a shape outline of no outline. Now you're going to notice that we just covered up over top of our cut lines, and that's not going to work because we won't be able to see them when it's time to go in and trim the card out. So with the blue box selected, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to tell it to send backwards. I'm going to keep on clicking that until my cut lines show back up. Now if we were using a darker blue, which I would prefer, I'm going to go in, let's say we want to use this really dark blue. It's going to be hard to see those black lines. So what I would do is go ahead and click on one of the black cut lines, hold down the Control key and select the other ones that are just inside of the blue, inside of this blue box we created. With all of them selected, we can do a shape outline of white, and now we can see our cut lines really well again once the card is created. Alright, for this card I think I want to put maybe a profile picture or a headshot picture up here. So for that we can jump over to the Insert tab and do a picture placeholder, and that just automatically creates a little square picture for us. And we'll put it right about there. Very good. It is actually still there even if it disappears when I go off of it. I tend to design, if we go over here to the View tab, I tend to design with the bounding boxes turned off, or it says boundaries. I do most of my design work with that turned off just because all of these little dotted lines, they don't print anyway, and I like to get that print preview while I'm designing. So if it kind of freaks you out that you can't tell where the box is once it's been created, you can always turn those boundaries on. If the boundaries get in the way and you're like, yeah, I don't like that, you can always just go over here and turn them off. For today's tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and leave them on. That way we can see where our picture placeholder is. Alright, with that done, let's go ahead and get some text on the page. Jump back to the Home tab, draw us in a text box. We want our text to be a little ways away from the picture, so I'm going to go about a 1/4 inch there, and I'm going to just draw out a nice big text box, and then we'll drop our name in here. And then a second line of text would be our title, so let's just go ahead and do my actual title. Mail and Print Associate. And then Evangel University. I don't even know if I spelled that right because it's hidden. Alright, so we got a problem here. We've got my name and my title in this box, but we want to format it, as we can see the little red red boxes and sizing boxes, I guess you could call them, have shown up, and that's because we've got text that has hidden itself behind here. I also don't like the fact that it is giving an extra space when I do a hard return. So how are we going to fix this? Hit Control A with this selected, so I have the cursor here blinking inside of the text box, so I know what I've got selected. We're going to hit Control A, it selects all of the text. We'll go back to the Home tab, Paragraph, hit that little arrow box, it brings up even more options. And right here where it says line spacing after paragraphs, we're going to change this to 0. I don't know why Microsoft has made it default to like 6 point or whatever. I don't like it. And then also I'm going to change this to 1 space between lines. Maybe there's a way to actually set the defaults on that. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Okay, much better. I can already see a problem here. I totally slaughtered my spelling because it was hidden back there. And there we go. We've got that corrected. Okay, so for my name here, I'm going to go with, let's go with Arial Bold, or Arial Black. And then for my title, we'll use the University font, which is Century Gothic. There we go. We use Century Gothic right there. I wonder if there is a Century Gothic Black. Let's check this out real quick. Curious. Doesn't look like it. There's just Century Gothic, and then alright, so we'll just go ahead and leave that one bolded, and then for my title and for the university here, we're gonna take and drop this down to like 6 point. Remember, we're designing on a business card, so it really doesn't need to be that much. I like to add a little design element that actually brings this box all the way across to the end, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the line tool, and I'm going to create a line, hold down the shift key, I'm going to bring this all the way across to here and let go. Of course, that's way too thick. Right click, format auto shape, we're going to drop this down to 0.75. and I might even move it up, so I'm going to use the arrow key just to bump this up so it looks like it underlines my name. But this just brings this kind of design element all the way across to the edge of the card, and since we're going to have a picture over here with a 1/4 inch of white space on the end of the card, we'd like to see a 1/4 inch of white space over here. That's just me, it doesn't have to be there, but I think it kind of makes it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Alright, let's get some more information on this card. Let's draw us another text box, this time down here in the blue area. Notice that when I hit that line that we placed down there, the guide, that's what I was looking for. When I put that guide down there for text safe, it actually lights up once I bump into it, and this one over here will light up as well. And if I grab the end of the text box and bump it into the other, that lines up as well. Alright, so down here we're going to want our phone number, so we'll put mobile. Whoops. Mobile, we'll put email, and I'm already going to run into this whole issue where we have paragraph, let's go to 0, let's go to 1 space between lines, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and choose Century Gothic again. We'll go with 8-point font for this, and we'll change our text over to white. There we go. So we've got our mobile number, we've got email. What else should go on here? Mobile number, email. Maybe we'll put in the university address down at the bottom. I'm not sure. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. I like to format my mobile number. All right, 298, and okay, very good. We got my email. There we go. Right, that's on there. Let's bring this up a little bit. Once again, there's going to be a 1/4 inch of blue over on this edge here, so I'd kind of like there to be about a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just kind of eyeballing from the top of the text to the top of the blue box, and that's what goes in there. Let me see what else I have on my card here. I've got some other information. Looks like we could add in the university address. Going to add in the university address on there as well. I don't think there's any other information. Maybe we want the web address as well. Let's put that up here. Alright, very good. Alright, so that's looking pretty good for right now. We'll just go ahead and stop right there. There's other things we could do. We could add a second side to this card if we wanted to, put something on the back. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine blank. If we wanted to add in a picture at this point, you can just click the little picture tab and it'll ask you where you want to get the picture from. I don't have a picture to put in there, so we're just going to leave that alone. For the sake of the tutorial, we'll just pretend there's a picture there. I'm going to just delete this. Whoops. I'm going to delete this box out of here. And we'll put in just a quick square. So we'll pretend that that's a picture just so you can see how this looks once we actually go to print. So if I say Control P, it automatically lines up 8 cards per page. It gives us all of those cut lines where we can now go in with either our rotary cutter, or if you're printing a couple hundred sheets and you need to use a larger hydraulic cutter or take it to like a Kinko's or some other place to have it trimmed out. They can do that using those cut lines, but that's what it's going to look like once it's printed. If you are sending this into the print shop, if you've watched this tutorial because you're sending me your business cards for printing here at Evangel University, if you're a student and you're sending them into the print shop, what you need to do is go out to File. So we're in the File menu already. right here, file menu, save as. Make sure you choose a place to save it. We'll just put it right here, and make sure you save it as a PDF. When you do that, it's automatically going to create your PDF with all the cards lined up. Alright, that's it for this tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.